hires Muslims from Turkey. There are ongoing investigations into Horizon Hill. It seems that many of their teachers may not be even licensed. They're being hired because they're Muslims. And what they're teaching the kids is the Islamic way. They're not teaching them science because they don't have backgrounds in science. Meanwhile, 40,000 American teachers are out of work. Ohio education officials are weighing whether to launch a full-scale investigation into where their concept schools is using unlicensed foreign teachers. How can you be weighing whether to investigate? If people are going to school and the teachers may not be licensed, how can that not be an immediate investigation? It's insane. And why are they hiring everybody from Turkey? And for God's sakes, why Muslims? Okay, here we go. This one here is just insane. After the Ferguson grand jury announcement, these idiots are all up in air. People are saying that black babies don't count. Black life is meaningless. Black life is worthless. Protests, firing, firebombs, shooting pistols at police, burning cop cars. Well, it so happens that since the death of Michael Brown back in August, LifeSite News announces that 981 black babies have been aborted in Missouri. 981 babies. That's 9 babies a day for the last 3-odd months. The black Missourians that were murdered were unarmed, innocent, had no ability to defend themselves, and died in plain sight. But there is no outrage. There are no riots, and not one protest. These black criminals looting in the streets, they're not there for justice. They're there because they are criminals. And shame on the Missourians for not protesting all these babies' deaths. LifeSite also noticed that in New York City in 2012, there were more black babies aborted, as in 31,000 in New York City, than born. 24,000 black babies born in New York City, and 31,000 killed before they had a chance, before they had a day to live on this earth. Don't you dare tell us that black life is meaningless to white people. You prove it every day that you allow this genocide of innocent babies to continue. Got a website for you. I haven't had a chance to play on it enough to be able to give you any real stats. But a website where you can go and type in politicians' names, candidates' names, dates, and so forth, and it will tell you which candidates have received money from what groups or what companies. Now, you can get that information other places. But this website also tells you how they voted on issues that related to those groups and those companies after getting the money. And you can set the dates close to the vote, like 60 days before the vote on subject A. How much money was received and how did the candidate or politician vote? How did the politician vote, rather? Check out the website. It's I did not highlight the website name. Oh, mercy me. I'll get that for you on our next break. I can't believe I didn't do that. Oh, it's MapLight, maplight.com. It's a unique website. There's other ways to track money, but nothing as detailed and revealing as this website. So look it up, bookmark it, and play around. I'm sure there's there's a plethora, a wealth of information there. The politicians. Well, let's do this one when we come back. We're still going on in Ferguson on this next story, and I want to give it its full due. So please stick around. We got a lot more coming up on the next half of the hour, and I'd like you to be there. Thanks.
Tom O'Halloran, holding the line against tyranny from Washington, D.C.
Welcome back. This is the fastest hour on radio. This is the Wednesday night edition of the Patriot Radio Show. I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. I'd like to thank the folks in the chat room, my usual gang. Got Brian and Ron from BNR Radio. Man, if you haven't caught this show, you're just missing it. Go to Patriot-Radio-Show.com. At the very top, right underneath the banner, you'll see a big red letters that says Radio Shows I Like. Click on that. Right at the top of the list, you'll see The Halls of Valhalla. They've got 3 shows. One of them is BNR Radio, as in Brian and Ron, The Last Stand. Sunday night at 8 p.m., there's usually 30 to 45 people in the chat room, and it's a very active show. They've got some of the best guests booked on online radio, and they do a bang-up job. If you want to have a good time, if you want to have a good time on a Sunday night, forget date night. Tune in to BNR Radio, The Last Stand. Also, Dale, known as Quincy Smith, at Quincy Smith on Twitter. I appreciate you being here, brother. My editor, Veronica Coffin, seems to be still off in Hawaii for a couple of weeks, so she's not in the chat room. Seems to be lying on the beach is more enjoyable than listening to me. We'll have to have a meeting when she comes back. Okay, up next, the politicians and the media inciting violence in Ferguson. This is shameful. This is shameful. It's not just the politicians, but the media hyping the crap that's going on up there. And not just the off-the-wall media, but, I mean, we're talking Huffington Post, CNN, using stories like the militarization of the police. Now, we've talked on this show many, many times about the militarization of the police. I'm not a fan. I love the police. I'm 100% law and order. But I'm not a fan of armored trucks, AR-15s, and virtually tanks running down our city streets. That's not the serve and protect. I understand they need to have teams. SWAT teams have always been an important part of the police force. But nowadays, I do think they're being overused. I think we're doing no-knock raids or no warrant raids. It's way over the top. But that isn't the problem in Ferguson. In Ferguson, we have a problem. It's called criminality. The black community did not like the verdict of the grand jury. They wanted the white police officer's head on a platter. Never mind the fact that there was no evidence that he did anything wrong. Never mind the fact that all the evidence proved that Michael Brown was a thug and deserved to be shot. They want the white man's head, an eye for an eye. That's not justice. That's not justice. But we still have the politicians. We had one on the show last night. We mentioned the head of the Black Caucus saying that the white folks are proving that black life has no value. One of the worst offenders of the media was the, quote, former communist Van Jones. He's now on CNN. Jones was a member of the Standing Together to Organize a Revolutionary Movement, otherwise known as STORM. It was a group that controlled numerous front organizations, such as Police Watch, such as that. But they're stirring things up. And how many times did we see the media refer to Wilson, the police officer, as being white while Brown is black, trying to stoke the racial controversy? Race had nothing to do with it. What it had to do with was the police officer, the guy in blue, was being beat up by the black thug. And whether you're black, white, brown, yellow, red, you attack a police officer, you're going to get dead. That's just the way it works. Rand Paul wrote an article in Time magazine saying we must demilitarize the police. Yeah, like I said, I'm in favor of demilitarizing it. But there was no evidence. There was no evidence that the police did anything wrong. The police and Ferguson acted professionally throughout the process. Officer Wilson's conduct and handling of Michael Brown's assault was fully vindicated. The so-called militarization of the police was an effort to protect fellow officers from the criminals that are hurling bottles, Molotov cocktails, and other stuff at them. They were also shooting them, burning police cars. I'm not a fan of militarization of the police departments, but I'm certainly a fan of police taking out rubber bullets and shifting over to real bullets if people are throwing stuff at you and shooting at you. Okay, we've got a series of stories here that is just absolute. This one here has been an ongoing story for a while now. Attorneys for the depraved gay agenda, the LGBT activists. Now, if you're new to this show, visit my website, algayda.com. That's ALGAYDA, algayda.com. It is not an anti-gay website. It's an anti-homo-fascist website. It's against these people. 1.3% of Americans identify as gay or bi. And yet these activists, a very small fraction of the 1.3%, are driving an agenda forcing unisex bathrooms in our schools, forcing girls to allow boys into the showers if the boys identify as being a girl. What boy wouldn't if it would get him in the girl's bathroom, right? The police or the lawyers for the Human Rights Campaign, HRC, this is an organization. It is the largest funded gay rights activist group in America. The largest funded, and they get a lot of donations from corporate sponsors such as CVS, Staples, Microsoft, Prudential, Ernst & Young, IBM, Coca-Cola, and many, many more. Now, the founder of this, Terry Bean, we'll be talking about him in a little bit more. But they've got an agenda, and they're pushing children and teens to embrace homosexual and transgender behaviors. They've been shielded from intense scrutiny of its destructive programs by its partner in crime, the NEA Teachers Union, connections to the White House, and the See No Evil media. But believe me, the Human Rights Committee, Human Rights Campaign, is as evil and vile as it gets. They've got attorneys speaking to school boards, and they tell the school boards that you don't have a choice. you have to have unisex bathrooms